Hello there. It's another episode of the Poncho's Paint Booth. Welcome, as always. Glad you're here. Real quick, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube. So go down in the corner, like and subscribe to my page. That is the Multi-Murdy Media. You'll get this playlist, which is where where I do all my painting hobbies and stuff. Mostly Warhammer models. Occasionally, there's some other stuff in there. So you get this playlist. You'll also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer. That's video games and Twitch. At the moment, I'm playing through Fallout 4 on survival mode, so it's gonna take a while, honestly. Let's see what else. And you'll also get the video format of my podcast, the Jankety Ass Podcast, which you can also find pretty much anywhere on every major podcasting platform and a few other ones in between. And last but not least, also look for Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. If you subscribe there, you'll get updates to all of my shows as they come out, usually within like a day or two, is when I put up the ads. Now, getting back to the present here, what we're doing now, this is going to be my first Adeptus Astartes model from the Games Workshop range, or Space Marines as most people call them. Mainly because until now, I had kind of banned myself from playing Space Marines just because, I started playing Warhammer back in I started in 4th. I had a bunch of old Space Marines back home. And then I started up again in like 6th or 7th edition, and I just had shitty luck. So I traded off all my old Marines. I said, I'm never going to play these guys again. But they've gotten pretty good again recently, and I had recently also bought the big Indomitus box set, which includes just a whole slew of new Space Marine and new Necron models, which you're going to be seeing. So you've already seen some already, so I'm going to be kind of switching up back and forth between the two different factions. But what we're doing this episode is the new Primaris Assault Intercessor. So the Intercessor is kind of it's the basic frontline troop for Space Marines now. After tactical squads, the Primaris are like the new souped up Marines, which are already souped up people. The Assault Intercessor variant is pretty much what it sounds like. Instead of having a rifle, they have a chainsword and a bolt pistol. But it's they're heavy duty bolt pistols, like all Primaris weapons. And as you can also see from the title of this video, these are going to be done up in the Black Templars chapter scheme, which is, in a way, it's kind of a cheap scheme to do because the main color is black. But the idea is to still, try and make that look good. So what we need to do, so basically the base color is already done. I mean, it's just primer and it's black. But what we want to do is, make that black, not make it more complicated, and add some stuff to it. So what I'm going to do is, over the whole model, I'm going to go ahead and dry brush a layer of field gray. And what that's going to do is it's going to pick out all the edges kind of all over the place. And, sort of make them stand out, make them look a little bit rougher. And then what I'm going to do is I'm also going to go ahead and... Actually, you know what? I wonder. Not field gray. This is the one I want. Fuck. Is it? I did an example model for myself a while back, and I forgot which color I used. I'm pretty sure it was dark sea gray, now that I think about it. So let me actually... And then also, whichever one of these colors I use, I'm also going to put into the joints, so like behind the knee, around the hips, and the inside of the elbows. But first, let's do a quickie test run, just so I know exactly what I'm doing. Where's my dry brush? Here we go. Get some of that. I'll start around the foot. You know what? That's the one. Dark sea gray is what we're going to be using. As you can kind of see on the foot, there's already some highlights picked out, and that's basically the effect we're going for. So let's go ahead and get cracking on all these guys. Right. So that's all the work done with our gray that we need to do. So now what I want to do is, well, I have to, so with the joints, I'm going to have to add in, let me pull it here. The joints are going to be filled in with Nuln Oil, the ones that I just painted the gray over. But before I do that, I also would like to add in some of the gunmetal details. So that's going to be so like the teeth of the sword, most of the elements of the pistol, some stuff in the backpack, and the belt buckle. And I believe, let me see, yeah, there's like some other joints and spots kind of all over the armor that will also be using this color. And the reason I want to do this first is because this also has to be hit up with Nuln Oil. So might as well just get all of this done in a single shot. So here we go. Okay, silver details done. Took a bit longer than I thought it would. Let's see, there's one thing I almost forgot. Is it this one? Yeah. You still got some chest straps that I need to do up real quick. That won't take more than a second here. Let's get one right here. And on the other side. Not chest straps, but body straps. Okay, so now all that's left to do, for now, so now we're everything that we just did, we are going to hit up with a wash of known oil. So that's going to be the joints and all of the metal parts that I just painted up. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. Okay, that is our beginning elements for our intercessors are all finished, more or less. I think I might have missed a couple spots, but other than that, I mean, these guys are pretty easy to do up, which is nice. And of course, we are going to go ahead and let these boys dry off and then come back and start working on some of the other more exciting elements. So don't go anywhere. Okay, so our previous work is all dry by now, and now we're going to dig into some of the more major details on these guys. So what that's going to look like is first, we're going to bust out the white, and where that's going to go is that is going to fill in the main chunk of the shoulder pads, this circular plate on the back of the backpacks, I believe, yes, and then the eagle on their chest, or I don't know what you would call that. And then I will also two of these. So one of these guys is bareheaded, so this won't apply to that. But two of them, I will also quit dropping stuff. Two of them, I'm also going to paint their face plates white, kind of in the middle of their helmet, and then also randomly some knee pads and elbow pads will be white. So that's the. Actually, I will do that first, and then we'll see what everything looks like once I am done with that. Okie dokie. White's down. I will eventually add in the whatchamacallit, some contrast in there, but first we are actually going to move on to some of the other details on these guys. So what I'm going to do next is, let's see, save that for later. Okay, so I have one guy without a helmet. He's barefaced, barring a rebreather mask. And so for the face that you can see, we're going to apply Kobold Skin. This is a lot like the Corpse Pale, but it's a bit darker and redder. So kind of more tanned, more sunned. And then some of these guys, actually they should, all of them. Some of these guys also have purity seals on them. And that is going to be done with our Drake's Tooth to kind of mimic a parchment sort of paint. So I will actually be able to set some of these guys aside. Just double checking to see which ones have the seals on them. This one. And yeah, okay, so just one. No shit, they have all got seals on them. Alright, never mind. So first up, I'll start off with the skin, since that's just the one guy here. Alright, got some smaller elements down in there. Let's see, how are we doing? We're good. So now, we're going to get into the last couple of big things to do. So first, I want to get a head start on the bases. And so what we're going to do is, that's going to be a layer of field gray. And for the most part, it's all flat bases, but this guy's got a rack that he's standing on. So that's going to be field gray. Then these guys have a lot of pouches and stuff along their back, or along their belt, I should say. And for all of that, yeah, I believe that's it. For all of that, we're going to be using leather brown to fill those in. Then the last detail is the weapons. I'm doing them as kind of like a standard issue color scheme. And so what that is the main bodies of the weapons are going to be our terracotta red. And what that is that's going to be the main chassis for the pistols here, and then the shaft of their chainswords. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the field gray. Alright, we finally got through a bunch of details. And so now what we're going to do is the last thing is to apply some washes. So that's not going to be the base at all because we're not dealing with that anymore yet. We just got the layer down and that's it. But what we are going to do is first we're going to finally go back into the white portions, so like the chest and shoulder pads and all that stuff. And we're going to get in there with our Apothecary White. You've seen this before, but again, what this does is it just kind of it's a very light gray layer over everything, and then it fills the crevices in with that, which it won't be as much with like these flatter surfaces, but when you get down to like the knee pads and of course the eagle on the chest, then it's going to bring out all those details. And then everything else that we did today, so that would be the weapons and the holsters and pouches and all that shit. That's going to be Agressive shade to give it that nice, give it some brown in there and really help the details stand out. So, yeah, we'll start off with the Apothecary White. And I will have to be careful because it's two different shades going on the same model, which I wouldn't normally do, but I think these parts are, the different parts are separated enough that it shouldn't be a big deal. I just have to be steady-handed. Let's get one loaded up, and let's just see how I do. Okay, so that whole process was a little bit long, but got a bunch of the main details done and really put a big dent into getting these guys finished. Give you a bit of a close-up detail. So yeah, we got some weapons done up. We got their base colors are essentially finished. And then just some details in the back. Now, it is a simple paint scheme, which is not why I chose it. I chose it mostly because Black Templars are kind of like one of those classic chapters that haven't really gotten a lot of love lately. And I figured that I could paint these guys off and sell them, but now I'm actually going to be keeping them. And just playing with them again, which is, killing my, or ending my self-imposed ban on playing Space Marines. But for now, we're going to let all these washes dry. There's going to be some dry brushing coming up, and then just a few more extra details. And these guys are, well, they're almost finished. So we'll do that when we come back. Alright, so all the stuff we did before has dried up. So we're ready to move on to the next few details. And what I want to do first is, I got this guy here who is bareheaded. And I've decided that I'm going to give him like a very light gray, almost white hair. So to start off with, that of course is going to just be our base white. We'll do that on top. And then we're going to go down. Same color, it'll just pop out the edges some more. And then we'll do the same with the weapons. Well, the swords and guns are going to be dry brushed with our pure red. It's a lighter color, so that'll pop out even more. And then, well, let's do that real quick. Or as quick as I can, anyway. And we are going to see what this looks like. Okay, got some more edging and details done. And as you can see, I forgot to mention I was also going to do the eyes real quick. So as you can see, an example here, we got some nice, back in focus, red eyes lenses. Not so much on our guy without a helmet. I left him without the eyes, which is fine. Let's see. So now, what do I want to do? I want to do one more thing in this video, or this segment anyway. Shit falling all over the place. So now all these, most of these guys have some sort of insignia or embellishment. I'm just double checking which ones. So not this guy. He's got a thing hanging off of his belt. This one doesn't have anything. And then these two are from the Indominus set, so they have a thing on their bracer here. So his belt piece, or ornament, and their bracers, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color that with greedy gold. This is the more darker gold, not like the shining gold that I've used before. Or maybe later. Yeah, before. So we'll fill those in with gold. And then those parts will be filled in with Reichland Flesh Shade, which, unlike the Agrax, this is more of like kind of a reddish orange shade, rather than just a straight brown like the Earth Shade is. And then also, whilst I'm here, I'm going to go over his hair with a bit of Nuln Oil to kind of darken it up, and then see what it looks like from there. So first, gold, and then washes. Here we go. Alright, so we added some more details in. And the Reichland shade, as you can see on the gold here, it doesn't... It's not too strong. It preserves the color for the most part. It just kind of adds in a little bit of extra detail in there once this thing comes into focus someday. Any day now. Maybe here. There we go. Yeah, so it just adds in like a little bit of detail in the recesses. And his hair is a nice peppery gray, or a bit of a salt and pepper look there. I guess with the ring light, it is a little harder to see the wash still, but I think I'm just gonna leave it like that as much. So what we will do is we're gonna let these guys dry, and then we will put the finishing touches. Because the models are basically done. All I really need to do now is just do up the insignias on the shoulder pads, and then start working on the bases.
Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do now is get to, well, there's really only a couple of small details left on these guys. Well, one of them isn't that small, and then of course, that's not bases withstanding. So what we're going to do first is, as you can kind of see, well, not so much, oh yeah, a little bit on this guy, so, well, actually here, let me get one of these guys. So on the sides of their helmets, there are a couple of small pipes that lead basically from this piece around their ear down to their faceplate. And then in some cases, actually I don't think any of these guys have it. Yeah, so it's really just that. So what I'm going to do for that real quick is those little pipes are going to be painted up with toxic mist. It doesn't look like it really fits, but it's a very small area, and it provides like just a little bit of contrast, and interesting contrast. And it will be easier if I just show you. So that was pretty easy, right? Just a little small detail. Let me clean up and then I'll show you guys a little bit better. So yeah, just a little bit of extra on the helmets there to kind of make it stand out, especially for the ones that don't have a white face white face plate. The ones that I left black, and just so it's just like a black helmet, just adds a little bit more color. All right, so now is going to be the little more intensive part. So as you can see, I've got a an art pen or marker rather than a paintbrush here. And what that's going to be, sorry, try not to sneeze here. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to be applying the shoulder pad markings. And what that is going to look like is on their right shoulder is going to be an upward facing arrow, which denotes their these guys' role as a troop choice or battlefield role. And then on their left shoulder is going to be the chapter insignia, which is basically just a black cross, not like Christianity cross, but like old Templar knight cross. So it's even up and down and to the sides. And it flares out a little bit, and it's cool. So what I will be doing is I'm going to make the outlines with my artist pen here, and then we just fill everything in with black. Pretty simple. Simple, but a little consuming. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, a little more intensive, but we were able to get our squad markings and chapter markings down rather easily without any real trouble. So now the last thing I want to do, while I got you guys here, is to get a start on our bases. Well, technically I already got a start on the bases. Continue with the bases, and for that, of course, we're going to start off with our, what is this? Rough gray pumice. That's our rocky texture. Kind of provides the dirt texture that we want on the base. And it's also pretty much the same thing that I've done with the Necrons previously, since these guys actually, well, some of them came out of the same starter set. So they're kind of in my schemes are kind of in the same place. So that's the inspiration. Rough gray pumice. Rough gray pumice. Okay, so I didn't want to add too much pumice on, just enough to, have the contrast between the snow and the dirt. And something I forgot to do earlier is all of these guys, I'm going to add some more elements onto the base, namely, well, just, a couple skulls, because for the other 15 of these guys that I have, I didn't really bother doing that. Actually, the sergeants are going to be next. That's the next video. And I will also put skulls on their bases too. But for now, we're going to let these guys dry off. And then when we come back, we should be able to finish off everything, almost. I believe so, yes. We'll finish one way or another. Alright, it's time that we finally finish these guys off. So, all that's left to do is just to go ahead and, finish up the base. As you can see, I went off camera and I applied the Null Oil Wash to the dirt to give the recesses and stuff. And I also went ahead and painted up these skulls and bits that are on the base. Well, bits in this case, he just has a jawbone down there. But, so as always, to dry brush the dirt, we're going to use ash gray. It's our lighter gray. And that will, pop out some more detail and give them a more even color. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so that was it there. Really just a little bit of a lighter detail. You don't even really see a huge thing, but it does make the bases just a little bit more uniform in color. And so now it's just time to do the last bit, and that is to add in the snow texture. Now, you've already seen me do this a few times with the Necrons and such, so put this away and get the right brush and get started. Okay, that's it. Our Assault Intercessors are all finished. Of course, we gotta let the snow dry, but the nice thing is with this texture paint, it looks the same, new and dry. So we'll get another little beauty shot in here. Intercessors. Very nice. So, once again, that was another episode of the Pontius Paint Booth, the Black Templars Assault Intercessors. And as always, glad you're here. And if you haven't already, go down here to the corner, like and subscribe to Multi-Murdy Media. That's my page here on YouTube. You'll get this playlist. You'll also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer. That's my Twitch and video games. And you'll get the video form of the Jankety Ass podcast, which you can also find on every major podcasting platform. in audio form. And then also, don't forget to look up Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. So, as far as this goes, this is just one of the first of Space Marines, and I have a bunch of different units coming up soon, as well as a ton of other models. So, plenty more on the way. Stay tuned.